Hey there, welcome back. I'm just following up on a mention I made of an adapter that I was getting, and I did get sent the adapter by the company. It's called the FUNMOUNT, and it's a Sony FE or E to Z adapter. So this adapter allows you to mount your Sony lenses onto your Nikon Z camera bodies. It also allows you to autofocus. It allows the metadata to be transferred from the lens to the camera, and of course allows all functions of the lens to occur, such as aperture adjustment from the body, image stabilization if the lens has it. All those sorts of things work with this adapter. Now, I sort of held off on making this video. When I received the adapter, they were on version 7 of the firmware, and to me it was not performing well at all, and I would not want to be recommending or even using the adapter at that point. I noticed yesterday that there was a version 8 software. So I updated my adapter last night, and I've been trying it with some lenses from Sony, and I must say there's been a marked improvement. It is still quite a quirky device in that some of the functions, such as the autofocus functions, particularly on the camera, so I've got the Z7, and some of the autofocus functions, they just don't work really well. So what's happening is when you put the lens on the camera with the adapter, the autofocus, like normally you get a whole lot of, like if you've got wide area chosen or auto for autofocus, it'll pick a box somewhere on the screen of the closest object that it thinks is a subject, and it will focus on that. So with this adapter, that wasn't working. It was just choosing a little tiny pinpoint in the center, and that's how it was with version 7. So with version 8, this seems to have been corrected, and most of my lenses seem to be working okay. So now you get the full spread of boxes appearing on the frame depending on where the camera's focusing. So that's good. I tried it with the eye autofocus on my daughter, and it does work. I must tell you that the autofocus is much slower than the normal Nikon lenses. It's much slower. So if you're expecting your Sony lens to focus as fast as it does on a Sony body, it won't. It focuses slower, and also it's not as fast as, if you've got Nikon lenses focusing on your Z body, it's not going to focus as fast as them, or even third-party Z mount lenses on your Nikon camera, it's not going to focus as fast as them. So I think there are some caveats with having an adapted lens, but if you really want to use your Sony lens, this is a good option because it's transferring all the metadata. It will do a reasonable autofocus, and you're getting functionality of a lens which you normally wouldn't be able to use at all on your Nikon camera. So if you've got a nice collection of E-mount lenses or FE lenses, you could now use them on your Nikon Z camera, which is a good advantage, I believe. It's something interesting. It's different. Whether or not you choose to go down that path, I think you'd have to really want to use that Sony lens on your Nikon camera. But for me, I don't think I'd find much use for it, just because I find the autofocus too slow and unreliable. There's also some quirks like that you have to, sometimes when I put the Sony lens onto the mount on the camera, it won't sort of register the lens. I don't know, it's got like just a single tiny point of focus in the center of the frame. I have to turn the camera body off and then turn it back on again to make it's like it's registering the lens, like going through that on off process. Seems to register the lens that it's there, and then it will be able to autofocus with the camera. That's a little bit quirky, but yeah, generally it works okay. It's not outstanding. It's not like, wow, yeah, you're going to get perfect functionality. No, it's not like that at all. But you will get a level of functionality that could be very useful for some people, like I'm saying, who really want to use their Sony glass on their Z mount body. So for those people, I think it's worthwhile. It's not too expensive. There are other ones that are much more expensive and they probably perform much better. But this one is a sort of bare bones basic model. It's called the FUNMOUNT, and it's got a sort of a comical name, so maybe it's not to be taken too seriously. And yeah, so anyway, that's my experience with it. Thank you for sending it to me for review. I was excited to get it, but now that I've got it, I'm sort of in two minds. Yeah, I've always preferred to use native glasses. I'm sure everybody else does. Every now and then there's a lens that you really want to mount onto a body of a different manufacturer, and it's nice just to have an option to be able to do that. So yeah, that's principally what this sort of device is for. And if that's for you, then yeah, I would recommend it for that. But just keep in mind that functionality is going to be limited, and yeah, it's got limited performance, but it will work. And yeah, with caveats. Anyway, catch you later. Have a great time. See ya.